Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. We've talked about a lot of stuff today, but we haven't talked about all the things that are going to kill you or drive you insane. Or, let's face it, probably both. But today we're taking a look at monsters, demons, and gods of the Cthulhu mythos. Hold on to your butts. Let's go.
Role-playing games thrive in fantastic worlds and at inclusive tables that embrace these core values for the most positive gaming experience. Donate to the Wounded Warrior Project via the link in the description below to help, honor, and empower our wounded heroes. On Thursdays and Saturdays, watch Heathen Dog's Dirty Casuals play multiplayer video games over on Twitch. On Sundays and Fridays, join us for tabletop role-playing game content on both YouTube and Rumble. Finally, please take a quick moment to like this video and share it with both your friends and on social media. If you have not done so, please subscribe to Legion of Myth and activate that bell icon to receive notifications of new content.
Okay. This picture right here.
Hold on. I have one bone to pick with you.
Okay.
You said that we're now going to get into all this stuff that's going to dude, artifacts mess you up, magic messes you up, making a character messes you up. You just lied to everybody.
No, I didn't lie. Well, okay, I exaggerated. All that other stuff messes you up over time. This is immediate.
Oh, okay.
As in, this guy right here, this is right after someone said, "Hey, I thought I saw something." And he pointed his flashlight towards something. He's either going to go in, temporarily insane or get his face eaten off. Let's find out which one.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. This chapter provides a selection of monsters, beasts, and alien beings for use within Call of Cthulhu. The chapter is divided into 4 sections, each focusing on a specific monster type. Cthulhu mythos entities, mythos gods, classic monsters, and beasts. The selection of monsters across the section is not exhaustive. Every horror fan can probably think of some terror not present. The ones here are those found in the most important stories, frequently appear in scenarios, or are commonly referred to. Many more can be found in the Call of Cthulhu supplement, Malleus Monstrum, also from Chaosium. It's basically the monster manual for Chaosium. This is a starter guide. About the entries. Most monsters and entities have characteristics including size, constitution, strength, power, intelligence, and dex. However, many do not have an appearance or education, since these qualities are meaningless in such alien and horrific creatures. Okay. see if you can wrap your brain around this. Most of you probably can. Appearance is how good you look. Education is how well you are informed about this world. Both of these things are ludicrous when you're talking about something from a distant star or from another dimension. Appearance is going to be, for the most part, indescribable to other people. So alien as to break your brain. That's why you're going to lose sanity even viewing these things. So appearance doesn't matter. And education, they know things that are so far beyond human understanding, they don't even correlate. There is no line to be drawn. There is no 6 degrees of information between what humans know and what the Migo know, or what the elder things know, or anything like that. There is no line you can draw to get there. The chasm is too vast. So education stat, worthless. As it applies to humans, it's worthless. Keepers have full reign to alter, modify, and rethink these entries. Lovecraft did not codify the monsters in his stories, so neither should you if you wish to present dramatically different versions. Yes, you don't need the Chaosium Monster Manual. You can take a fire vampire, or star vampire, whatever it's called, and you can change it. You can change it how you want to make it a different thing. Call it an ice vampire. Call it a lunar vampire. I don't care. You can do that. It doesn't matter. Make it a new thing. Give it a new backstory. Have fun with it. Completely fine. Lovecraft did the same thing. These are creatures of nightmare, and individual monsters may vary from one encounter to the next in their characteristics and abilities. Now, remember, what you're going to see, all the stats you're going to see are an average example. The keeper can boost and take away individual stats, characteristic, powers, damage, whatever, as he or she sees fit, and it's fine. It's a baseline. The characteristic values given for each monster are those of an average specimens. Okay. As keeper, you have the option to roll an individual monster statistics or choose to create a lesser or greater specimen using the dice ranges as a guide to generating characteristic values. An elder star vampire is going to be stronger, faster, smarter than a regular star vampire.
What if the name is just to throw you off?
Maybe the name is just, maybe they call themselves star vampires, but translation, it actually is, elder thing from the planet Forset 7.
Pyrite vampire.
Pyrite vampire. There you go. Only full characteristic values, i.e. no halves or fifths, are listed for monsters. Non-player character and monster characteristics are primarily used to set the difficulty level of player skill rolls. As keeper, you may occasionally need to figure out a 1/2 or 1/5 for a particular monster's value, but this will be unusual. Monsters usually don't have to roll that much because the things they know, like I said, do not correlate to anything in the human world. So it's usually just straight stat-based stuff. Monster sizes. Here's monster sizes. This is a human. Hello, human. How you doing?
So you could just walk through that thing. It can't hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a tunnel.
Yeah, it's fine. Builds. Along with the characteristic of size, each monster, character, and vehicle has a build value. This figure provides, at a glance, guide to scale. The average human has a build of 0, with the full range extending from -2, children, small persons, to 2, heavyweight boxers, or Andre the Giant.
Wait, a child is the same size as a fruit bat?
A child has the same combat effectiveness as a fruit bat.
Okay, that's fair.
When considering what a being can lift or throw, use a standard human as a guide. An average human build 0 could lift someone of equal build off the floor, perhaps carrying them over their shoulder. Something of a build 1 or smaller could be easily lifted, and a thing of 2 build smaller could be thrown. So I could throw a child. And you know what? I have done. I have a child. I have thrown him. So there you go. That's why dwarf tossing was a thing.
Screw context.
Dwarf tossing was a thing for a reason. Still is a thing depending on where you go in this country. Okay, with strain, a human of build 0 might just lift a person of build 1. The most a person of build 0 might do to a person of build 2 is to unbalance or disarm them. So yeah, if I build 0 were fighting Mike Tyson 20 years ago, fuck, Mike Tyson even now, the best I could do was annoy him. That's the best I could do. Unless he was sleeping and I had a gun, and then I might win. I stress might, but that could happen.
Is he a heavy sleeper or a light sleeper?
Yeah, that's important. Will he hear the trigger, not the trigger, but the
cocking of the
striker go back? Will he hear that? I don't know. Maybe he will. Using this as a guide, it becomes simple to figure the relative capability of a monster to lift and throw things. For example, whether a monster is large enough to throw a car. Okay, this is, like I said, it's not for people, it's for monsters. So let's say, I don't know, you are fighting, say, a night gaunt. They are 1 square. So it's large humans. It's gonna be build 4. I'll just say it's gonna be a build 4. So a night gaunt could pick up and throw a human being because it's 2 levels or more below them. A human being could run full bore, full body tackle into a night gaunt. It might unbalance him for a second. That is an Andre the Giant level human. Not a regular human's a 0. A 0. A regular human can do nothing physical to a night gaunt where the night gaunt gives a crap.
I'm going to fireman's carry that D-hole.
No, you are not, because the D-hole is this thing. It is 65. It's the same size as a battleship.
I got it.
Yeah, you got this. You got this. It's all good. Here's some more. Remember, this is human on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is Bayaki. This is a minion, a servitor race that lives on a different star, which you can call through spells. So it's at
Dude, that
it's at least
Slender Man thing, considering its size, now that's creepy.
the Ithaquah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
this
thing,
thing is
if you consider its size and that Slender Man look, that is, okay, that's creepy. That would actually give me nightmares.
yeah. Well, all of this crap would give you nightmares, to be fair.
I don't know, but that one stands out for me.
That one stands out for you? Okay. Here's a quick reference guide that explains the chart, basically. Playing monsters effectively. Monsters are, for the most part, not mindless animals. They're monsters, not beasts. Okay? They have at least very, very high predator intelligence. Many are of equal or greater intelligence than the investigators, with motivations and concerns beyond the scope of the average human's understanding. They are from another plane of existence, another planet, another dimension, whatever. All of their wants, needs, and dreams are incomprehensible to you as a human being. So they may act in a way that you don't understand, and you as a human may decide that that means they're stupid. No, it doesn't. It means that what they're doing and how they're doing it, you don't get because you can't get it. That's it. You can't understand. When involved in combat, consider the monster's objective. If its aim is to kill the investigator, it should fight back rather than dodge. If it wants to escape from the investigators, it may choose to dodge in order to gain an opportunity to flee. Many Mythos monsters can use spells, casting them as any other spellcaster would. In some cases, a monster's spell may be portrayed as a manifestation of that monster's innate power. Again, you as a human being cannot fully comprehend the monster in front of you. So when it casts a spell, say, summon pillar of flame, a human being watching that, like, oh, it can throw fire out of its mouth or something. They're going to mistake that for some kind of innate ability like a dragon, because human beings have to understand things by linking it to things they already know, which does not work in the Lovecraftian world, because all of this crap is nothing like anything you already know, which is why you go insane. Monsters may not have skills listed, though most or all might have a few skills such as listen, stealth, and other things like that. Keepers should add skills as required using comparative beings as a guide. So here's the thing. It may not have skills, but monsters are smart. They can hide if they want to. So you as a keeper, you have to give them a hide skill, or they may sneak. They may do these things in to further their goal, what they want to do. Even if the skill's not there, you get to give them a skill based on what you think they should have. You know, if it's a giant rock thing, sneaking's probably not going to be a forte, right? Hiding might be really easy depending on the environment. If you're in a quarry and you're fighting a monster that's made of rock, all he's got to do is kind of sit down and you're like, where'd he go? You're like, stuff like that. So be aware of what it looks like and the environment you're in, and it'll help you, get all kinds of skills. Monsters and investigators, a comparison. It is quite possible for the investigators to beat some monsters in combat. Against others, their only chance of survival is generally to flee or hide. Deep ones, Byakees, dimensional shamblers, fire vampires, that's it. Gas, ghouls, servants of Glaaki, Migo, moonbeast, nightgaunts, whatever. And of course, human cultists can be taken on in combat by several investigators. Migo don't like flamethrowers. Put that in the back of your head. Being made of all fungus. They don't like that. This is the reason that so many scenarios feature cultists, deep ones, Migo, and ghouls. They make approximately human scale adversaries. Such mythos entities can, on first reflection, appear human-like in terms of their vulnerability and relative size. Yet beware of humanizing such monsters. As stated, their goals, knowledge, and abilities should be difficult, if not impossible, to fathom. They will act in unexpected ways, and the mere sight of them can draw madness upon the inquisitive. Yes, again, we're making sure that you understand, yes, they're human size. Some of them even have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. But that may be exactly where it stops. Their brain could be in their foot. Their genitals could be in their mouth. Who knows, man? Don't know. So make sure that your players, if you're a keeper, your players learn that the book thing completely different.
Cutting off their head is how they procreate.
There you go. Now you made 2 of them. Good job. Here's pronunciations. Please, if you are triggered by all of my bad pronunciations, go ahead and throw in chat this list.
Refer to page 280.
refer to page 280 and tell me exactly how I'm not saying it right, please. Combat. By default, every monster, with a few exceptions, has the fighting skill, a generic combat skill covering all manner of strikes, kicks, claws, teeth, tentacles, whatever. If the being is able to use melee weapons, the fighting skill should be used for those as well. Be creative in how you use and portray these attacks. Each entry describes how the monster would normally attack, and keywords such as bite or kick are provided to give the keeper ideas on how best to describe differing attacks. It's for flavor or to facilitate a power that the being has. For example, if the being has a poison touch, a bite would very much likely inject poison into the target. While a monster's standard attack could be used every time, this can become repetitive and dull, especially if the monster is considered intelligent. Using the damage listed for the monster's standard fighting attack frees the keeper from having to adjust the damage with each variation, allowing the keeper greater freedom to describe the monster's attacks in creative, imaginative ways. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say you're fighting something that is a blob of goo with 100 tentacles. At the end of each tentacle is a mouth, and it's covered in 5,000 eyes. Okay, so all it has is a fighting skill and damage for an attack. That means the damage is the same for a squeeze attack if you're wrapped in a tentacle, a bite attack for each tentacle,
or a gaze attack,
or a gaze attack from an eye. It's the exact same attack, it's the exact same damage, but it gives variety and shock and awe value to the investigators, which is what you want. And it gives an example of that here. First attack, third attack, fourth attack, stuff like that. Monsters and maneuvers. Maneuvers, abbreviated strangely, use the monster's fighting skill. Build is an important factor for maneuvers. Like I said, I said earlier something about a flying tackle. You don't want a flying tackle, say, something the size of a battleship. You're just gonna bounce off it and make yourself look like an idiot. If the opponent is 3 build points above that of an attacker, a maneuver is ineffective. Any monster of build 2 or greater is never going to have penalty dice when using a maneuver against a human being. The largest opponent a human, build 2, could take on with a maneuver would be build 4, horse, elder thing, etc. Even then, the largest of humans would attack with a 2 penalty die due to the difference in build. Now, I don't like the idea of penalty die because the regular roll, hard roll, and extreme difficulty roll pretty much sums it up. After you hit extreme difficulty, man, everything's hard enough. You don't need penalty dice on that point. Sorry. It's just weird.
If you don't want him to do it, just say no.
Yeah, just say you can't do it rather than, make an extreme difficulty roll with 2 penalty dice. Just say no. Just say no. In combat, monsters can use the same range of maneuvers open to humans, and maybe different ones because they could have tentacles or whatever. Visualize the monster and imagine how it might take advantage of its physical form in combat. If it has tentacles, hands, or pincers, it might seize hold of the opponent. If it has a prominent mouth, then it might bite and hold on to its prey. You get the point. Depending on what it looks like and what possible appendages it has at its disposal, you can now use those in specific maneuvers to debilitate, to encapsulate, to strangulate. I love the 8s. And here we have examples: knocking down investigator, pushing investigator, disarm an investigator, and the list goes on. Monster spells. The higher a monster's power and intelligence, the more likely it is to know spells. As a guide, average guide, those with power and intelligence of 50 to 100 might know 1d6 spells. In choosing spells, consider the purpose and nature of the creature. Keepers are encouraged to manipulate and alter spells to better suit particular mythos monsters. For example, you have a Migo, and he wants to get back to his ship. In his hand, he's got a device. It's a tracking device for his ship. He doesn't want you guys to have it. You guys are attacking him. Okay. He has lots of devices, and he has spells, but mainly his devices are going to be like a phaser for defense, but most of his spells are going to be evasion and escape.
Let the Migo go.
That's probably a great idea, but if you want to capture the Migo ship, you're going to have to take the tracking device he has in his hand. So maybe you don't want to let him go. That's up to your investigators, man. Don't get in their way. If they want to kill themselves, let it happen. Just make sure you describe it well. And the more intelligence and power a creature has, the more spells it's going to have as well. So remember that. 50 to 100, 1d6. 100 to 150, 2d6. Something like that. All right. And here's section 1, Mythos monsters. The Byakhee, the winged little like drake things we saw earlier. The interstellar race often serves Hastur the Unnameable and may be summoned to partake in rituals. Remember, there is a spell, summon and control Byakhee. Composed of conventional matter, they are vulnerable to ordinary weapons such as pistols. Dwelling in interstellar space, Byakhee do not have bases on Earth, but may be summoned to perform deeds or to serve as steeds, carrying their summoner through interstellar space. I don't recommend that, but hey, you know what? Whatever. Special powers. Flying. They can fly through space and carry a rider, though such riders need protection from vacuum because the Byakhee don't need that. They're born that way. Spells. Byakhee have a 40% chance of knowing 1d4 spells. Why? Because their intelligence and power are exactly average of 50. So instead of giving 1d6, they decide, they're right on the edge. We'll give them 1d4. Such spells may relate to Hastur and associated beings. So these spells are going to relate to their patron god and choose spells for them. You know, try to choose spells for them that fall along those lines. But seriously, you as keeper, you can give them any spells you want.
So really I forgot, but I thought human power levels were actually pretty low compared to like the other attributes and so forth.
Yep.
So what's average human power level?
Usually it's 3d6 times 5.
So, is this still times 5? Okay, for some reason I thought the power was lower.
Yeah, between 50 and 55 is going to be normal human power, normal human dex.
Then I was mistaken. For some reason, I don't know what it was, but for some reason I thought it was like between 1 and 10 or something like that. I don't know why, but okay. My bad.
Intelligence is 3d6 plus 3, and something else was 3d6 plus 3 as well. Okay. And that's how you know that this book thinks that intelligence is a very important attribute. But they have strength of 90 and a size of 90 on average. The average Byakhee has these things, which are close to the pinnacle of human ability. Remember, a human can have 18 times 5 in the beginning of their starting adventure, which is going to be 95. These guys on an average start off at 90. So they are very strong. And they have build of 2, which means they have the build of the pinnacle of human development. Andre the Giant build. Average magic points of 10. So
he was kind of broken. Is he really the pinnacle?
Move 5 for walking, 16 for flying. Average damage bonus is 1d6. Now remember, it's damage bonus. Their attacks, 2 attacks per round. Fighting attacks. The Byakhee may strike with claws or crash into its victim, delivering grievous wounds. Bite and hold. This is a maneuver. If the bite strikes home and the Byakhee remains attached to the victim and begins to drain his or her blood. That's not good. Each round the Byakhee remains attached, including the first. The blood drain subtracts 3d10 points of strength from the victim until death occurs at strength 0. Now remember, getting away from this thing, once it bites you, you have to use an action, or somebody has to use an action to get it off you. Because if it's on you,
and remember, it's big.
Of the round, if it's on you for the entirety of the round, this happens. If you're alone and this thing bites you and you don't get away the first time, you're dead.
Yeah, you're not flicking a mosquito off. No, a couple of you are trying to drag this thing.
Yeah, trying to open its jaws, right? But you're going to lose 3d10 strength at the end of round 1. And that means at the beginning of round 2, you better be praying that you get into heaven someday, which is today. That's today. Today you get tested. Unless the victim makes a successful strength roll, you're not getting out. That's great. Escaping death, let the victim rest and regain blood by transfusion as well, at up to 1d10 plus 5 strength per day. A Byakhee may hold only one victim at a time because it only has one mouth. Fighting, 55%. Bite and hold, damage 1d6 plus 3d10 strength. Of course, we know that. Dodge, 33%. Can't dodge too well, but that's fine. Armor, 2 points of natural armor, which in this case, it's no different than Kevlar or whatever. It's no different. Armor is armor in this game. Sanity loss, just for seeing it. If you make your sanity, it's 1. If you don't, it's 1d6. Loss. Okay, that's a monster. All right, let's try and find something else. Let me see.
Yummy.
Mythos monsters, deities of the mythos. This is a god.
So 1 per session?
Yeah, this is what you are trying to stop the cultists from summoning. This is that. If this gets on the planet, if you don't stop the cultists from summoning, usually it's endgame. But let's figure it out. Although many of the alien races of the mythos are terrifying, they are nothing before the might of the mythos gods. Immense creatures barely within our scope of understanding, all the more horrifying for the fact they do not care about the fate of humanity at all. You're ants to them. They don't care. It should also be noted that many deities have avatars. These are specific forms, sometimes with specific attributes, in which a portion of the god may appear. Cultists often worship avatars of gods rather than the gods themselves because they don't know any better. Gnarly is particularly well known for his 1,000 avatars. The term deity is used here to mean not only gods, but those with godlike powers, such as Great Cthulhu himself. While Cthulhu is worshipped like a god, many believe him to be part of an alien race, though whether his brethren are like him or lesser beings is not clear. Those such as the Great Cthulhu may be referred to as Great Old Ones to distinguish them from actual gods as we generally understand them. But I want you to understand that the difference between a Great Old One and a god is minuscule. It is inconsequential at the moment you see them. The difference doesn't matter. They'll kill you just the same. So let's find Cthulhu. Screw it.
Yay.
Cthulhu. Great Cthulhu. Here we go. That's him. Look at him. I always think his tentacles are a little longer, but whatever. Great Cthulhu's body form is not fixed. Oh, okay. He can warp and modify it at will, extending new limbs, retracting old ones, greatly increasing his wings area and reducing his body size to enable flight, or elongating a single limb or tentacle to enable it to ride through yards of corridor. However, his overall shape is tied to the form described. Thus, he might expand or contract his wings, but he will never completely absorb them. All of his forms are recognizable as caricatures of him. He dwells in the corpse city of Black. I always get this wrong. Riley. I don't even know.
I can't see it. It's too small.
That's okay. Sunken deep beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. He is in living death, basically like a torpor. But someday the city will rise and he will awaken. And there's the cult. We don't care about him. Let's see the stats. I want to know the stats. Here we go.
I can arm wrestle him, right?
Yeah, you can arm wrestle him just fine. His strength is only 700.
Sweet.
Constitution 550. Size 1050.
Wait,
Dex 105.
hold on. 65 was a battleship. Oh,
yeah,
no, that was power.
No. That wasn't power. That was build. Build 65 is battleship. He's only build 22.
Okay.
Yeah. Damage bonus of plus 21 d6. So if he flicked you with his comparative little tiny pinky tentacle, you would take a d4 plus 21 d6 damage. Great time to be alive. Great time.
Want me to roll that?
No, I really don't. Fighting attacks. Huge. He will stomp, kick, and crush with his feet, clawed hands, and tentacles.
He only has 2 attacks per round.
No, that's because he's so big. I mean, it's kind of like the whole Godzilla thing, like Godzilla's not that fast comparatively to us. A scoop attack. Each round, 1d3 investigators are scooped up in Cthulhu's flabby claws to die hideously. If Cthulhu were just emerging from a vast hole, or if he were to stoop over, the investigators might also be attacked by his facial tentacles. which can grab 4 people per round and which can penetrate small openings. Fighting, 100%. 100. Damage 1d6 plus 21d6. Now, this is why it's instant death. The scoop is an attack. And we all know the damage is the same. 1d6 plus 21, so 22d6. It is very unlikely any investigator will survive that initial hit. Because most people will die even if he rolled all ones. That's just the way it is, man. If Cthulhu hits you, you die. That's how it works. You don't like it? Man, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm joining the other team then. I'm going to help summon him because fighting him isn't an option.
Oh, and scoop, the damage is 1d3 investigators killed. They just assume you're going to die. They assume you're going to die. Armor, 21 points of trans-dimensional muck and muscle. Additionally, he regenerates 6 hit points per round. At 0 hit points, Cthulhu bursts and dissolves into a disgusting, cloyingly greenish cloud, then immediately begins to reform. He needs 1d10 plus 10 minutes to regain full solidity again, and when he does, he has his full 160 hit points. So killing him only gives you 11 to 20 minutes of reprieve.
Hope you have gas in the car.
I hope you have some kind of shop vac that can suck him up as he's reforming. I hope that helps. Spells. He knows hundreds of spells, but not summoned by Night Gaunt. He knows so many spells, we're telling you what he doesn't have. Summoned by Night Gaunt and Contact Nodens. He might impart Contact Deep Ones or Contact Cthulhu via Terrifying Dreams if you decide to communicate with him through spells. Sanity loss. If you gird yourself and are prepared, you lose 1d10 sanity. If you are not, you lose 1d100. So you could just give up your character. Just glancing in Cthulhu's direction, then you give me your character sheet. There you go. That could easily happen to you. Okay, that's a god. Now, what about just regular old beasts? Beasts. These are just monsters. Just monsters that are there to make the investigators feel good by killing. Let's try zombies. Zombie. Zombie.
Okay, you're not the cranberries now.
No, let's move on. No, we're gonna do beasts. So we're gonna do something else. Condor. No, these are just animals. These are just animals. So I don't really care about that. You can find animals wherever you want. These are traditional horrors. These are monsters you are going to face. That most of them are non-intelligent or barely intelligent, and they're commonly used by cultists and amateur summoners everywhere to get the job done. Here's a mummy. Let's do a mummy. These are great. Mummies are awesome. Let's try them. These undead beings are similar to intelligent zombies. Some cults keep mummies in their temples as guardians. Like zombies, mummies must be hacked apart to make them cease action. Contrary to popular belief, many mummies lack bandage wrappings and can move relatively swiftly. Some mummies cannot naturally regenerate magic hit points. That means the person who summoned them has to infuse magic into them all the time.
Let me guess, blood.
And you know what? It works for vampires. Life is transmitted in the blood. Life makes things go. A mummy has double its human strength, 1.5 times its original constitution, but 2/3 its original dex. Because of the bitumen and bandages frequently used to preserve them, fire is a particularly effective against Egyptian mummies. Damage is normal, however, the flames are more difficult to extinguish because, they're covered in a flammable lacquer, basically. Mummies. Strength 105, con 80, size 65, dex 35, intelligence 55, power 75. Magic points 15, average build 2. Again, this is not because they're so much bigger than humans that they are the pinnacle of human, build. It's just that they're denser and magic is fortifying their structure, so they act like an Andre the Giant type character. Armor, 2-point skin. Their skin is hardened. Impaling weapons, stabbing weapons have little effect. It only does half damage to them because they don't care about their organs. Stabbing weapons are made to puncture organs and cause people to die. They're already dead and they don't care. Now, according to their stats, mummies should have 1d6 spells. But according to the description, it doesn't give you any spells. This is a general rule. Each keeper can work differently. If you want your mummy to have spells, your mummy can have spells. It's fine. Give him 1d6 spells. Cool. It's great. All right. We will look at one more. Oh, vampire. Here we go. A vampire. Everyone loves vampires, right?
No.
I mean, they all glow in the sunlight, right? They're all like shiny. That's what I heard. Let's see. Every player will be interested in matching its wits with these bloodsuckers. However, stories about vampires and their powers are so conflicting and contradictory that the individual keeper must determine which vampire facts are true in play and which are merely legends. Here are some options. 1. Vampire casts no reflections. True or not? It's up to the keeper. Third bite from a vampire causes a character to die and become one of the undead. Is that true or not? Up to the keeper. And so on and so forth. But let's see about the stats. Special powers. Once physical attacks have exceeded its hit points, the vampire turns into smoke or mist at the end of the round, after which its hit points reach 0. Thereafter, regenerating hit points at the rate of 1 point per round. If, when at 0 hit points, a stake is driven through its heart, the vampire is killed and reduced to ashes. So, you not only have to reduce it to 0 hit points before stabbing it with a stake, if you're not quick enough and the end of the round happens, you lost your chance. It's going to come back and probably be pissed. But let's see. Strength 105, above human maximum starting strength. Okay, fine. Intelligence and power looks like it might have spells. Average damage bonus plus 1d4, so it does d4 plus d4, 2d4. Average build 1, so it's a built human, but not heavyweight champion of the world.
Not a mummy.
Not a mummy. Magic points 13, species rate +2 at movement. So if you're a human, you move at movement rate 10, because humans go at 8 +2 is 10. If this is a vampire of another race, then you take their movement rate, add 2. Attacks, only 1. Vampires have the usual range of unarmed attacks open to the humanoid of whatever it is. Bite, depending on the style of your vampire, again, you have to choose, what its bite actually does. The vampire may have to hold the victim to continue draining its victim's blood, or the act of biting may subdue the victim to the vampire's will. Either way, the vampire drains 2d10 strength in blood from the victim each round thereafter. Not including the first round, but each round after. Gaze. If the target fails an opposed power roll, the target is hypnotized and can be made to follow simple instructions. If these instructions are self-destructive at the start of the round, the target's player may attempt an intelligence roll to snap out of it. But if it's not self-destructive, you can't. You are now the vampire's little bitch. Sorry. Fighting 50%, damage 1d4 plus damage bonus or weapon. Bite 50%, 1d4 plus special, which is whatever you decided the bite does. Dodge 25, armor 0, but it can reform after hit points are exceeded. Like I said, when you goes to 0 hit points at the end of that round, it will turn to smoke or mist and then start regenerating. Skills: charm, human psychology, track, and stealth. Sanity loss 0, 1d4 to be attacked, 1 or 1d3 to witness a transformation. Now, vampires made of humans pretty much look human. So you're not immediately going to lose sanity by looking at it. But once it does vampire stuff, then you're like, uh-oh, that's not right.
Once it starts wearing pale makeup and eyeliner.
No, that's normal. That's normal human dumbassery. But once it starts, poofing into mist or drinking someone's blood or stuff like that, then yeah, we got a problem. We got a problem. Now, it doesn't say it has any spells.
It does say magic points, though.
Oh yeah, all things with power have magic points.
Okay.
But again, its intelligence and power are above 50, which means as the keeper, you can legitimately give it 1d6 spells. And that's fine. Absolutely fine. 100%. So let's figure out what else we want. And that is basically it. I'm not going to go into beasts because they're just bears and werewolves and lions and tigers and oh my, stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. So that is it for what you are going to face. Now remember, you as investigators who are listening, the keeper can alter these stats, alter their powers however they want. Now, you may cry foul if they alter it significantly and don't call it a different creature. And for the most part, you'd be right. But vampire doesn't say vampires have magic spells. Yeah, but they have the intelligence and power for it, which means it's completely legit that they do.
Well, here's also one other thing. I know that you have this book and you're going to try to memorize the monsters. So I'm going to change the monsters and it's going to do something different than what this is a guideline. So
yeah, that's the great part of mummies and vampires, which I talked about earlier. You can give them any kind of lore powers you want. And in your world, that's correct. So if you're trying to prepare for all the possible vampire abilities, well, good luck, brother. That's all I got to tell you. So what do we have for chat?
Okay. Not for the same reason, but I'm going to go backward again.
Okay.
The reason why I'm doing this one first is twofold. Number one, this comment comes from Rumble. And hey, it's great that we can see Rumble chats, right? And I know you tested this a couple weeks ago, but it's happened again. We also got a $20
which we can't see.
I can put up a normal chat. I can't put up the Rumble rant. That seems backward to me. So
it seems weird. Yeah.
So thank you, Patriotic Stall. He said I didn't have to say this, but I don't care. He gave $20. I'm saying it anyway.
He gets what he gets.
Yeah, so thank you for the $20. But also from Rumble, Star Trek Enterprise, I think, had a scene where the crew had a diplomatic incident by eating in front of aliens because those aliens eat and defecate through the mouth. It was very offensive. I don't remember that one, but I don't remember every Enterprise episode.
I believe it. But yeah, I mean, again, sometimes species are so different that understanding each other and coming to any kind of mutual understanding of the universe or your part in it is unable to happen. Too different.
Lovely. My neighbors are playing music to the point where I hear the music louder than you.
I don't hear it at all.
That's good. Well, I have a noise gate, but still. Okay. It's disconcerting for me because wouldn't it be funny if you had a harmless herbivore that does nothing, but everyone dies from bad sanity check?
Well, no, you can't die from losing sanity. You can go insane indefinitely or permanently, but you're not going to die. Well, okay, you could. You could go insane temporarily, turn around, start running, and run off a cliff. But it's not the monster's fault. He just looks like a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. He's the equivalent of an outer space bunny. But you didn't know that because its form is incomprehensible to you, and so you went batshit crazy. It happens.
And the last one, the Peters Field Guide is great for showing your players some things and not worry about giving game stats away. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. The Peters Field Guide, is that a guide of actual creatures, or is that a guide of made-up creatures, or I don't know.
What I responded with, I don't know if you've heard of it, but I have the some SCP books.
Security yeah.
Those
SCP.
Things, man.
And some of them are really, really Lovecraftian.
Yeah, some are Lovecraftian, and some are just, how do you beat this thing? If it sees you, you die. Okay, if you see it, you die. Okay, so how do we beat this thing?
Well, that's the whole premise of the SCP is you don't beat it, you just lock it away and make sure it doesn't kill everybody.
Right. But the point being is like you can come up with some really, really interesting
yes,
Cthulhu-esque monsters from that stuff.
Oh yes.
All right. Okay.
Is that it?
I am going to go AFK for a moment here.
Okay. And I got one more thing left, and but we're going to use that for next time. So everyone here, subscribe. It's awesome. And next time if you're watching this on Memorex, you gotta wait a day or two. But we are now going to talk about scenarios. I'm not going to go through the example scenario here like you're gonna run it. I'm just going to show you how it's built, so you as a keeper can understand how to give the players the information in a way that they'll understand, and you as investigators know what information is going to be given to help you navigate the world.